I'm going to continue working on my legs. You can see I went ahead and drilled out all the waste at the drill press, and now it's just a matter of chopping to the lines that I laid out with my marking gauge and marking knife and chiseling away that waste. I want to take just a second to point out that I'm paying attention to the grain orientation of my piece as I'm chopping. Because I've drilled out most of my waste, I'm actually going to be working across the grain in a long grain, splitting off a lot of this material. I want to be really cautious of the grain orientation of the piece. I'm first going to chop across the grain at either end of the mortise and really score that nice and deep. Then I'm going to start with the chisel, drop it in my knife line. I'll break off some of these little tips that are left from the drill bit, but I will start splitting this material away. I want to make sure that I start at the end that has the grain running into the mortise. If I started, you can see right here, the grain right here is running from outside the mortise to inside the mortise. If I were to start at this end, the grain is running from inside the mortise and then turning and coming outward. That runs the risk of splitting down this grain line. What I want to do is start here where the grain is outside the line and work into the grain so that the grain is falling into the mortise itself. You can see that line right there. That's my grain orientation. So as I split away this material, I'm going to work from this corner up, come back, and work my way back down. Also, as I'm working, I'm going to be splitting away the material at the ends of the mortise first, working down one side and back up the other. However, I'm also going to make sure that I'm in line with my workpiece. So you can see here, if I'm working here, I'm looking at my workpiece and I can see that my chisel is nice and square if I'm in line with it. If I work at 90 degrees to it, I can tell that it's square this way, which the chisel naturally does, but I can't see that it's square this way as easily. So I always, as I'm chopping, want to be looking down the edge of the chisel.